Hey, I'm going to talk about the church attack, the attempted church attack. Thank goodness it was attempted and it was foiled by proper thinking and proper law enforcement, proper church safety team training. I apologize for the roughness of this video. I've got a class, the presentation that starts in 10 minutes, but I wanted to get this out. So I just called up to Northern Virginia, spoke to some people, so I got some facts. I didn't want to get it from, I don't get my information from the news or from social media, but these are the facts that are coming out of Northern Virginia from those directly involved in the incident. So it was Park Valley, I'm just going to read my notes because I just hung up the phone with them. Park Valley Church, Virginia, Prince William County, Sunday, September 24th, 2023. 35-year-old Asian male. Now, I say Asian male because I think it's important for us to know the race, the demographics of these people that are attempting these attacks. I don't say their name. I will never say their name. They're not worthy of us saying their name. He posted on social media pictures of him aiming his pistol at church images. He superimposed beautiful old churches across America on his video. One showed the lighted sign above the main rain-slicked entrance to Park Valley Church in Northern Virginia. The burning pages of a Bible were seen in other pictures. At 3:20 a.m. to 6 a.m., he's at the church conducting pre-attack surveillance on the building, and he's posting social media. Why is that important that we know that he was at the church ahead of time? This is the predatory violence that we talk about in our training. This is where we have to understand our attackers. He had written a manifesto that we're going to talk about, but part of his predatory violence is that pre-attack. He's got to see what the church looks like. He had gone there in the summertime, so he knew what the interior looks like, but let's see what kind of security we have there. This is why it's important for church safety team members to get to the church an hour early. Look around the parking lot. Check the building before we start having people come in. This is all thinking outside the box. These people did amazing, and this is all thinking outside the box. From 6 to 7 a.m., he went back home. 7:37, a citizen that knows him saw his unusual post on social media, and she calls the police. So from 3:23 a.m. to 6:04 a.m., that's when he's posting the images. But she sees something and says something. That's why it's important too. This is called threat assessment. She didn't go to this church, but she knew him. And threat assessment is looking at something and saying, let's make a phone call or let's say something about this before somebody gets bitten or we're in too far with an anomaly where now we can't turn around. Kudos to her. At 9:22 a.m., the police conduct a welfare check on him. He's not at home, so the police thought outside the box. He lives in one police agency jurisdiction, the church is in another. This police agency jurisdiction thinks, let's call this church and the safety team and give them heads up on what's going on. Let's call the police agency where this church is. Let's give them heads up what's going on. See the communication that's happening here? Like I say in my presentations, most active shooter attacks are preventable. This was prevented through proper communication. See something, say something. Threat assessment, police and security, church safety teams working together. So at 10:02 a.m., police responded to the church. Off-duty officers were already at the church working for the service. They heard the radio call, saw this guy's car in the parking lot. Shortly after this, the male comes in through an unlocked back, unattended door. So we want churches to be welcoming. We don't want to turn somebody away from Christ. That's the whole purpose of the church. So we don't want locked doors unless they're attended. We definitely don't want unlocked doors in the back of the church to be unattended. This is how he got in. You can have unlocked doors, but you need to have somebody there vetting people as they come in and out. And if you don't have anybody vetting them, then that back door of the church should be locked and secured. He sits in stadium-style seating up top. So now he's at an elevated position. That's where he's got a tactical advantage. Congregation, he tries to blend in. He's standing out because he's wearing all black and he's wearing dark sunglasses. So he stands and leaves the sanctuary and tries to walk into a lobby area, and he tries to go into a door that says, do not enter. This is why we preach. This is why we talk about in our training. If there's a sign that says do not enter, enforce that sign. Just because it's Mary, we know her. She's been going to the church for years. she can go through that door. No. If a sign says do not enter, the church safety team needs to make sure nobody enters. That's the rule. Nobody enters. So we want to enforce those signs. Security and police on and off duty. Church security and police on and off duty. They're working together. They stopped him, checked him for weapons. He's got weapons on him. They arrest him. He's got a loaded handgun, extra magazines, and several knives on him. At 11:54, the police go to his house with a search warrant and they find a kill manifesto. He had attended church in the summertime at this particular church. So again, predatory violence. He's got I'm sure he was practicing with his firearm. He's thought about extra magazines. He's thought about knives. He's thought about the layout of the church. He went there early for the church. This is that predatory violence where a sign on the church that says no weapons or firearms is not going to stop him. He's already put too much into this attack. So things we need to know. We have to know our attacker. We don't have to know him personally, but when they walk in that door, we got to know what type of violence they're working on. There's several types of violence. This was predatory violence. The church can hold up to 800 to 1,000 people. 300 of those would have been children. Very concerning because he tried to walk around the campus of that church and they stopped him. Could he have been going to the children area? Absolutely. We don't know. We'll never know. Probably never know. But his manifesto included mentioning government employees that attended the church. And then the manifesto also said, I don't know any of them. So is that a play on words? I don't know any of them, as in they don't know me. They didn't give me the time of day. They didn't pay attention to me. They didn't welcome me into their church because I was a single Asian male. There's a lot going on there. Remember, active shooters feel like that they have been disrespected or they feel like they've been done wrong. So it'll be interesting when this manifesto gets out to find out what he wrote, what motivated him to pick a church, what motivated him to pick that church. There's a lot going on here. We have to be aware of the 13-day copycat period. So we should always use due diligence at our churches, but now that this is in the news about a church, the next couple of Sundays, extra care all over the country, not just in Northern Virginia, not just in Southwest Virginia, not just in Washington, D.C. This guy put church attacks on the radar. He put Asian male with church attacks on the radar. This is what he did. I'm not saying this. This is what he did. So we have to watch that 13-day copycat period. People with churches, share this video. Sometimes people don't have social media where this is going to be aired right now. My YouTube channel is Marco Galbraith. It's going to be on the screen right here. Marco Galbraith 9634. When you get to that main YouTube page, you'll have to click videos and you'll see this video. You can share the link to other churches. Even if you don't want to share my social media, get this information out to the churches, the particulars of this. Excellent, amazing job by his female friend that saw this concerning social media post. Excellent job by the church safety team. Excellent job by agencies working together. An excellent job by on and off duty police at the church. This is how it's supposed to unfold. This is what's supposed to happen. Through proper training, we can get folks to notice things. Situational awareness, pre-attack indicators, they were all here. This is a classic example of how active shooter attacks are preventable.